Today on the Bass channel, we're checking out the Terror Bass head and OBC 112 cabinet from Orange. Before we get started, just to get a couple things out of the way, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and make sure you ring the notification bell. And if you like this shirt and want to get one for yourself, check them out down below. We got this design and a couple others. So with that out of the way, let's get on to the Orange. I'm going to read some facts off of the website, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on the amp, so if that's something that's worthwhile to you, please stick around to the end of the video, but for now, let's burn down some facts. With a valve preamp and a 500-watt Class D solid-state power amp, the all-new Terror Bass sounds closer to the flagship AD200 than ever before. Though the circuit is completely new, the Terror Bass retains the control layout from the original amp with the addition of a clean switch. This reduces gain and gives you a smoother top end, giving this super simple amp an even greater range of tones than its predecessor. There's also a 6 dB pad switch, meaning active and passive instruments are equally well catered for. The Terror Bass uses a lightweight and efficient Class D power amp with 500 watts of power into 4 ohms and 250 watts into 8 ohms. Coupled with the Balanced XLR output and valve-driven effects loop, the Terror Bass is perfect for any situation, whether it's the studio, rehearsal, or life on the road. The OBC 112 cabinet is Orange's newest addition to the range. With rear porting and featuring a 400-watt neodymium 12-inch bass speaker, the OBC 112 produces a surprising amount of bottom end despite its modest size. Built from 15mm birch ply, the OBC 112 is light enough to be truly portable at only 26 pounds. So the majority of the tones you're hearing in this video are a combination of the amp's direct output and the microphone up on the speaker, which in this case, we're using the Shure Beta 52. So just to get a better idea of how each sound on their own, let's just start by hearing only the direct signal. And now let's take a listen to just the speaker. That sound sample that you just heard is by my good friend Jamie Lewis over at thebassist.net. Head to thebassist.net/bass channel to get an exclusive discount off of your first billing cycle of your premium membership. Your premium membership gives you access to all sorts of lessons, tablatures, PDF, video, and my favorite, Ignite Musical Training, which is a 12-week comprehensive crash course in music theory and ear training. So again, go to thebassist.net/bass channel for the exclusive discount. I highly recommend checking it out. heard what the amp can do on its own, let's stick the orange 2-stroke in front to push the amp a little bit harder and get a little bit more drive. Like I mentioned before, the Terror bass is also equipped with an effects loop. If you're unfamiliar with what an effects loop is and how it works, you can check this video out here, but for now we're just going to put a couple pedals through it and see how it sounds. So first up is the Boss CEB3 chorus. Now let's check it out with a little spring reverb. Now let's hear what it sounds like with an envelope filter in front of the amp. Before I was surrounded by basses and I was predominantly a guitar player, I was an orange fanatic. I had the Tiny Terror, I had the Dark Terror, the Jim Root Terror, and the little Micro Terror. And back then I was also recording quite a bit of music, and I'll be honest with you, I wanted the Terror bass so badly. One, to satisfy my need as a collector to have, you know, all of the little lunchbox Terror heads, but mostly just to see how it sounded. And funny enough, the Terror bass was sort of the inception for the bass channel in the first place, because at the time, Will and I were writing a lot of music together, and we were trying to see if the Terror bass would even fit what we were doing at all. So we started watching a bunch of YouTube videos to see if it sounded good for our needs, and we couldn't find any videos that demonstrated the product playing the way Will played, which at the time was a little bit more heavy-handed, kind of akin to Geddy Lee. So that initially sparked the idea of, hey, one day we should do YouTube videos demoing gear so people can see how it sounds with more of that style. And I don't know what, 5, 6, 7 years later, here we are. One of the songs we were writing at the time features the Tiny Terror on the guitar tracks, and we ended up going just direct with the bass and using some of Logic's built-in amp sims. But now, all these years later, I can finally hear what this song would have sounded like had we used the Terror bass. finally, 7 or 8 or however many years it's been later, I can honestly tell you, I'm glad we didn't use it. Personally, I'm just not a fan of the gain stage. I don't really like the way it breaks up. It's just not my flavor. You know, everyone's got the sound in their head, and the sound in my head just happens to not be this. It might be yours, it might be someone else's. There's plenty of pizza in the fridge for everybody. Everyone's got their own flavor, so if it's your flavor, cool. It's just not mine. That being said, I do actually really like the clean tones on it. If I'm going to use it, I'm going to keep the clean switch engaged at all times. I do like that the EQ is rather subtle. No matter where you put any of the bands, it's not going to blow your head off by cranking the bass or the treble or anything, and scooping the mids is not going to completely kill your signal. It's just a nice kind of seasoning on the tone, if you will. So that being said, it's a great recording amp. It's a great practice amp. I love how light and portable everything is. Depending on the venue you're playing, volume may be an issue. If you're playing somewhere that's going to mic you up or, you know, take a direct feed into the PA, no worries. If you're playing at some local bar where things start to get a little bit louder as things go, you might find yourself in a sticky situation. But otherwise, I think it's a great amp for the money. Again, if the drive is your flavor, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Actually, hold on, let's back up. I do have to say that I did really like it with the boost in front. That got it a little bit closer to the sound that I'm hearing in my head. Again, whether it's yours or not, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the amp. As always, if you like this video and you want to see more, you can always subscribe. You got Patreon over there for more exclusive stuff, and right about here, YouTube is going to suggest some videos that are going to be best suited to you and your interests. So until next time, I'm Chris from the Bass Channel, and thanks for watching.